Hello, my name's Ricky and this is Ricky U Sketch. Welcome back to the channel and another episode. Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide Aincrad this week. If you tuned in last week, you'd know that I promised that I would, as well as the fact that I'd be taking a break very shortly. Unfortunately, my computer seems to have decided to take on itself and break, so I'm unable to actually get into it and do some editing. So let's make the best of a bad situation. I'm sorry that you have to listen to me for another week. Hopefully it won't be much longer, but we are going to go over my materials today. So I've had a few comments in some videos before asking what materials I use, so even though I have responded to those comments and put it in the channel description, I just thought why not make a video on it while my computer's out of action. So let's crack on. Now, speaking about getting started and stuff like that, what do you use to start a drawing? That would be paper. So the paper that I use is 250 GSM A4 paper. Sometimes I use A3 as well. This is unbranded stuff that I just buy off eBay, which comes sometimes in this white envelope. Yours might not. But inside is the contents, and that's what really matters, and that would be this. The paper, which is basically just card. Like I say, it's 250 GSM. GSM is the thickness of the paper, I believe. I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's just to do with the actual thickness, so that it can like hold up to Copic markers being put on it, so that it doesn't actually like bleed on the paper. It does bleed through onto the other side, but it doesn't bleed onto the desk or anything like that. I mean, obviously, if you're applying it really like in full force, it probably will go through to the other side, but generally I find when I'm doing my drawings it'll just go through to the other side, but not really much else after that, and it doesn't affect the actual integrity of the paper or the drawing itself on the front, and I don't really do much on the back either, so that doesn't really matter, but it's just something to bear in mind anyway. So moving on, obviously after the paper, what do you use to create your drawing? That would be on none other than obviously your own creativity as well as the pencil. If you are a fan of pencils, then I would highly recommend getting one because they're really good stuff. This would be a mechanical pencil, obviously. This is the Staedtler Mars Micro, so it's just my pencil of choice. It's just something that I found on Amazon, again kind of cheap, came in a 3-pack. That would be the 0.3mm, 0.5 and 0.7, each colour coded, yellow, red and blue respectively, and just like any mechanical pencil, press down on the top, you get lead. Open the top, you've got a rubber which I've erased out of existence pretty much. Pop the rubber out, you've got a hole which you can then fill with other lead, which you can buy separately. I'm sure you can get other branded stuff, but I just stick with the same brand because why not? Again, available on Amazon and just cheap stuff, so it's not really important. I'm sure you can go with any mechanical pencil, but I do find these ones quite comfortable. Don't really use the other two that much. I'm not really good with thicker lines. I find that by going in with a thinner line, I can get more detail into the drawing. I can always thicken things up with this one anyway by pressing down hard or just drawing a thicker line. Obviously, if I make mistakes, then I'd need my trusty eraser, and you probably will too, to be honest. So there it is, just a plain white eraser, not branded, not sure where it's even from, probably picked it off the floor, but that is that, nothing more to say. But as you might know, that by using one of these you'll get a lot of rubber shavings. But not if you use this, a kneaded eraser. By rubbing out stuff with this, it just kind of, the dirt goes onto the actual rubber itself and you get no shavings. However, the dirt will go on this, so when you rub out afterwards it might make a little like grey smear. Just rub over that grey smear again, it should go, but like I say, it's just going to dirty this up. But yeah, it's malleable, molds to the shape you want it. You can get it really thin if you want, or just roll over anyway. But it'll usually come like this, just in a pack. This is a Koh-i-Noor Hardmuth 6421. Not sure what that means, but just cheap stuff that I bought on Amazon again. So yeah, it's really your choice, just pick and choose. I tend to use both to get the best of both worlds, so that is that. But once you are ready to make some permanent lines, you're going to need a fine liner. If you do want to mark out your work anyway. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I just go straight in with the colour, but when I do ink, I go with a Micron Pigma. This is just because I watched some of Mark Criddy's videos and saw that he was using these, and I was like, I've got to get me a pack of those. So it comes in a pack of 6. You get the 0.05, the 0.1, 2, 3, 4, no, the 0.1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So that is the entire pack there, each like going up in thickness each time. The 0.05 I tend to use for mainly my like thinner lines, finer lines and stuff like that for getting more detail. The 0.1 is generally my go-to pen, to be honest, and if I need to thicken lines up, again, same deal with a pencil, just draw a thicker line with this one. I do also have some Copic multi-liners. I don't tend to use these as much because I don't find that there's much difference, to be honest, but this 0.05 seems thinner than my other 0.05 Micron Pigma. I don't know how, but yeah, so I kind of mix and match with those as well, but not really much point. You can get these quite cheap on Amazon, or you can just get any fine liners, whatever you prefer, but that is what I use. Tend to mix and match, again, like I say. But much like the eraser, if you need to get rid of pens, you can't really do that like pen lines with an eraser, whereas you can with these, which are Uniball Signo white gel pens. So I basically use these for highlights, reflections, that kind of thing, sometimes like electricity over the actual drawing itself, but you can also use it to kind of like white out mistakes, much like Tipp-Ex. So this is the Uniball Signo, this is the thinner one, which is like a 0.3 I believe, and that's the UM120AC, AC standing for angelic colour because it's a nice holy white. This is the like the thinner one of the two. And then there's the Uniball Signo Broad, which is the UM153, just called white, pure and simple. But this one's just a thicker one to apply more of a thicker line, I guess, just so that you can apply more gel to the page. And ruler, shatter resistant Helix, just random one that I picked up from Asda. It's blue. Also got this one, which is a Helix. Doesn't say that it's shatter resistant, so it probably could break. This is a 45 centimeter ruler actually. I use this on my bigger drawings when I'm using an A3 piece of card, but also blue. That doesn't really have anything to do with it, but I like blue, so there we go. Now moving on to the colouring tools, we've got pastels. I don't really tend to use these that much, however I will use the white more so than anything, just to kind of like lighten up my Copic marker colour. If you just rub that in, then it tends to brighten it up a bit, well, make the colour a bit dimmer. And then you can just rub that out if you're not happy with it, like it does kind of rub out, but like I said, like if you were to use a dark colour on a white piece of paper straight away, it wouldn't rub out in full, so don't get any wrong ideas. It's basically just sometimes it can rub out, so try not to mess up on your first mistake like I do. But yeah, cheap stuff off Amazon, again, unbranded. Well, Inscribe, if you've heard of the brand, I haven't. And finally, moving on to the main part of the video would be Copic markers. We've got the Copic Sketch, which is my main marker that I'll use for everything pretty much. Also got the Copic Chow, which are just some ones that a friend got me, and they're just like, they're basically the same as these, but like the cheaper version essentially. These are cylinders, so they roll, whereas these are more of an oval, so they stay in place. They're also really comfortable, and they've also got the colour, number and name on top, the branding on the side and everything, and this is just the black one. Comes with a chisel tip and a super brush, which both of them do, the Chow included. But these ones, the tops are, they kind of have a ridge inside, so when you pop it in, sometimes you can kind of wreck the chisel tip, so I'd watch out for that. But these are more affordable. The sketches, depending on what set you go for, I went for the 72-piece set. They're like £300 for a 72-piece set, so collecting all 5 A, B, C, D, E, if you know your alphabet, it's pretty hefty amount of money. That's 1,500 in total, which is more than a lot of people would want to spend. There's also the Copic Wide as well for applying a large amount of colour to one surface. This is just a chisel tip, but I generally use this on the Death Note drawing or something like that when I want to apply a lot of black, as I only have the black one. But yeah, if you were to buy a 72-piece set, it would look something like this, with all the colours on top. So you got blue, violet, violet, red, violet, yellow, red, or orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, earth tones, and then you've got warm grey, cool grey, tone grey, and neutral grey. As well as that, you've got the black colours, and you've also got this one, which is a colourless blender. These are all alcohol-based markers, so yeah, they've basically just got alcohol inside, so don't get any wise ideas by drinking it or anything like that, you'd probably die. But this one just kind of blends the other colours together, but they are just good at blending themselves, really. I wouldn't really be where I am with drawing now if it wasn't for these, so I highly recommend them. This is the 72A. I did start out with the 72B, so that would have been used on my first few drawings like Primal Koga and Groudon. 72A and B I used on drawings like Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, and since then I've just gotten all 5 sets. But really fancy tubs, and you kind of hope so for £300. But I think that's about it. Sorry that I had to rush the video. I did do one previous to this, I did quite a few takes on this one. It took about 12 minutes and the video decided to cut in half instead, so I've had to really rush this one. But as we get into 10 minutes now, I should probably finish off with this. I'm really sorry that I haven't been able to provide the Aincrad drawing this week and that you've had to listen to me once more. It's twice in a row now, so I am sorry about that. But I do hope you tune back for next week's video. I'm hoping that that'll be Aincrad and I'm hoping that my computer will be fixed by then. But yeah, take it easy guys, hope that you have a good day, good week, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.